all, hold on, let me greet you. Hello. And now it's like, where are we at? Which country do you eventually want to settle down in? It's difficult. I don't understand. Like, I really went through some dark days. Let's get into it. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this box is cute. Right. I do not know when last I sat here and we just chatted, you know? Wow, it's been ages, I feel like. But you have seen us do things and go out and see the people and travel here and there, and it's been a lovely time. And up till this point, we've been in the UK since... First of all, hold on, let me greet you. Hello. Hi, thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming through. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Simple Bagili. I'm 27 years old. I live between South Africa and the UK with my husband Seth, and it is all just a wild ride. So let's give you a bit of an update because, again, it has been ages since we just sat down, chatted for a second. And the thing is, there are some new faces around here, and so I just want to let's bring everyone along and bring everyone up to speed. You know what I'm saying? Also, some things have happened. Things have changed. If you haven't watched it already, things like Seth's spousal South African visa, Seth's South African spousal visa. Things like his visa having been denied, like all that drama, you heard all about it. And now it's like, where are we at? Yes, we're here in the UK, but like, are we carrying on with the traveling? Are we going to settle down somewhere? A question we always get is, which country do you eventually want to settle down in? And it's like, there's just so many things. So let's get into it. Okay, so up to this point, we have been in the UK for 5 months. Go on, airplane. Get out of here. There's so much pulp in this. At the time of filming this, it'll be exactly 3 weeks until we fly out to South Africa. Now, let's clear all of that up. So, yes, Seth and I are both going back to South Africa. How it works is because his spousal visa was rejected, which still to this day, I'm like, please make it make sense because... Kanjani. Like... It was just a renewal. He had the visa already for 2.5 years. Oh, we're complicating things, home affairs. But it's okay. It's done now. We move forward as best as we can. With that having been done, I can't remember if I mentioned this in that video, but we did have the opportunity to... What's the word? For the life of me, I cannot think of what the word is, but for the lack of a better word, we did have the opportunity to query that rejection, and we decided against doing that just because... Listen to this. It would have taken between 6 months and 2 years to get a response from them. And it cost just about the same for him just to get a brand new visa altogether. So we were like, let's just leave that because also, one, knowing home affairs is going to be the latter rather than the former. And that means it'll sit more on the 2 years than it will on 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So we're like, not worth it. Let's just start again. So now we essentially have a clean slate on both South Africa and the UK. Right, so that's Seth's part of the coin. On my side of things, as you know, I had applied for a 2-year visitor's visa to the UK. And if you're around for that, you know that it was approved. Great, fantastic. Been here for the past 5.5 months. A stipulation with the UK visitor's visa is that I can be here for 6 months at a time maximum. So I've got 2 years access to the UK and then can be here for 6 months maximum in a singular visit. Does that make sense? Cool. Now, let's jump back to Seth. Seth, on his British passport, can be in South Africa for 3 months at a time. So, our plan as it stands is to go back now, do 3 months. That'll be until mid-December. And then from there, we actually still need to decide, is Seth going to come back to the UK and then fly back out to South Africa? Or if the both of us come back to the UK together and do another 6 month stint here. Or 5 months. So, it's kind of like a give or take thing and it depends on stuff. So, we're trying to decide what makes the most sense. I don't know. I think something that's been a real beauty, to be honest, is just having been in a relationship with God regarding this specifically, is him giving us instruction like when we're in the water. He's like, keep walking until you get to the point where it's like left or right, and know that when you get there, I will let you know, go left or go right, and it will be clear and you'll absolutely know. So have definitely got to a point where we've just learned to let go, to stop stressing, to stop worrying about things, because for example, us having come here, when he came back, it literally was a decision within 2 days, and then he flew out immediately, and that's because there was a family emergency. So that was like, yes, absolutely, now's the time for you to go back home. So I've kind of been working through things like that. So in terms of mid-December and not knowing if Seth should come back by himself or if I should come back with him, we're not panicked, but I'm also like eagerly trying to hear where the Lord wants us, because the thing is, I think being in the position that we're in, living in 2 countries, we have to be prepared, and it's helped so much having my visitor's visa, because it means if it's like you need to go tomorrow, cool, I'll be able to fly over and sort that. But in terms of being prepared, it means like we need to have that money saved up ready for flights for either of us. I've experienced before, but in any given moment, one of us has a return flight back home because we technically are visiting each other in each other's countries. So for the next person to then get their new flights, that's always something that we need to be prepared for. It's funny because I thought about it earlier this week and I'm like, normal couples, they save for a new couch or a new kettle or a new toaster. We're just saving for flights. And I'm like, in a lot of spaces that sounds like a massive privilege. Not everyone gets to just travel all willy-nilly. And it's like, yeah, that's true. And honestly, that's taken me a long time and it's taken a lot of work and effort. And listen, God has been working in me because I've struggled. Like, there have been some really difficult months where I've just been like, Lord, where are you? You're here, and I know that there's a plan, and I know that you know what's going on. Like, I know all these things. I know that you're good and perfect, and you've got a will and a plan for us. But I don't understand. And I don't see it, and I'm confused. And why have you put us in this space? Constantly just being pulled back and forth. Just the lack of stability and certainty. It can be so frustrating and so, I don't know, like, I feel like it's just a normal thing to want to have a plan for your life. To know where you'll be in the next couple of months, to know that you're settling down as a married couple and this is what it's going to look like, or this is what we're heading toward. But to not have that, it has shaken me. I'm not going to lie. There was a point a couple of months ago where I was just like, and it happened so many times because the thing is, you have hope and you run on that hope and run on that hope and run on that hope, and then it just depletes. Like, something I explained to my friend is I got to a point where I felt like I was forced to get onto this airplane and then was pushed out of the plane and just free falling, and it's like, I don't have a parachute, I don't have anything. I'm just falling and then hitting the ground and then still being picked up again and be like, you're going back on this airplane, we're throwing you out again, and you're falling back out and hitting the floor again, and just being this constant, I couldn't tell you, like, I really went through some dark days in this time here in the UK. But when I tell you God is faithful, folks, like, there's so many spaces where he's spoken so much life into me and so much certainty, and he really took the time to reframe my perspective. I no longer feel hopeless and like, all of this doesn't make sense, and like, your feelings are like, God doesn't love me. Like, why has he chosen such difficulty for me and for my life? Like, this deep and with no way out. It's like I am in the depths and literally there is no light. But he has changed my perspective so much. I'm so much more free and so much lighter and have so much perspective. This life is so beautiful. If I sit here and compare myself to like an average couple who has a mortgage and is settled down and is thinking about having kids in the next year and all these like textbook things, I'm like, that's great, but God has given me a new perspective for our lives, and it's so flippin' beautiful. And it's hard, don't get me wrong, it's difficult, and there's some days where I'm like, Lord, we're still going. Still uncertain. Okay, all right, I'll trust you. Like, there are days when it is really difficult, but he really has just sown into me, and now I feel like I'm just at a point that I appreciate where we're at. I appreciate that we get to fly across the world every so often, spend time with Seth's side of the family, spend time with my side of the family, so into new relationships, which have been so much fun here in the UK. I'll tap into that in a little second. But then equally go back home to where I was born and raised and spend time with people I've known since grade naught and people I've known since high school and just people that have been in my life forever. And it's just like, whew, just getting that, that sense of relief of just like, these are my people. This is home. This is family. I didn't even have to think when I drive because I'll just go there. You know what I'm saying? It's random things like that you really begin to appreciate, not having to overthink where you're driving to because you know exactly where you're going and you don't have to think twice about it. But here it's like GPS, like, oh, am I lost? And I'm still learning the roads. This time, I'm not even driving this time because our insurance would have shot through the roof if we had added me to it. So I literally haven't driven a car in like almost 6 months. But the other side of things, it has been so incredible. The friendships you guys have seen and have heard, and I know that I'm constantly going on about it, but genuinely it's been so good to build community. All my friendships just feel like seeds that are growing, and it feels so good and it makes me so warm. I appreciate it so much. I'm just like, yo, Lord, thank you so much. And God has really spoken into that space, saying that, because there have been times where I felt like just like throwing my toys out the cot again and being like, Lord, what's the point of making these friendships if I'm literally gonna leave in like a month? That breaks my heart. You're just gonna forget me, I don't know, I'm very dramatic sometimes, and God bears with me, praise him. him. But he's just like, no, my little one, I have brought these people into your life for such a time as this. And they will know full well that you're going to be leaving in a month. But they're not going anywhere. Like when you come back, it's all going to click right back. In the same way that your friends in South Africa are there, have your back, or people that you can call on, it's the same here. Like yes, they're little seeds, but trust that those seeds are going to grow whether you are here physically or not. And I've said that to my friends. My friends here, I'm like, listen, you're stuck with me now. Like, don't get it twisted. We've had lunch now. We're friends. You're stuck with me. I'm going for a couple of months. It could be 3 months. It could be 6 months. But you're stuck with me. And they've all been like, listen, you're stuck with me. So I'm like, great. So yeah, I think this trip has been really good for me, really good for my insides. I started off like great and fun and like cool with doing this again, and I expected it to be like last year when we came between July and January, and it was completely different. And so that first chunk I'd say was me just getting used to that, okay, this is different than it was last time, because Seth and I are in a different space in terms of work and everything. And then it got to a space where it was like dark and I was struggling, not understanding God's plan, just feeling like he was giving me suffering, and then moved over to a space of gratitude and joy and genuinely just immersing myself in the space and enjoying it. And with all of that, I've also gained the perspective of not expecting the same thing with each visit. Because if you remember with one of my previous life updates, I was telling you about how going back to Pretoria gave me massive anxiety, and that's because of the previous time that we were in Pretoria. It was like horrible. And so I had just like trauma connected to it. Whereas now I feel like I've let go of everything. I'm excited to go home, and that's a difference. But I'm more so taking on a perspective of let it be what it is. It's not going to be like any other time I was there previously, and that's fine. That's good. It's like choosing contentment because God has brought us to this place. And if he has brought us to this place, then trust that it's going to be good. Whether it's going to be difficult, challenging, exciting, fun, no matter what it is, it's going to be good because he is good. He's fundamentally good and cannot be anything other than that. And me being his child and being attached to his hip, it is all going to be good. Regardless of even my internal experience, it's like, be still. It as well. So yeah, that is me. That is my life update. I will probably give you another update a little bit later when I know if we both will be coming back to the UK or if we'll be staying in South Africa. So we will again either be there for 3 months or 6 months. At this moment in time, I do not know. It feels like it changes. Some days I'm like, no, I definitely want to stay in South Africa for 6 months. And then other days I'm like, I only want it to be 3 months because there are things I want to come back to here, like friendships, like business opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't tell you where I'm at personally. But if you do have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask. I'm always happy to answer. Let me know if you're excited for some Pretoria content. We also are going to be in KwaZulu-Natal for a solid month. It might be a little bit more than a month. That is my life story. Thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps my channel on levels always. Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for sharing this life with me. Thank you for being just a sounding board, because there's a lot going on all the time. And I love sharing it with you. I just feel like it's just like a video diary kind of vibe. And I love that. And I appreciate you coming through to watch, coming through and supporting me, coming through and letting my life be entertainment to you. That's what we're here for, isn't it? Thank you so much, guys. If you haven't already, please subscribe. As I say always, and I mean it, I love having you here. If I don't see you in the comments, I'll see you in the next vlog. Really excited for that one. I'm excited for you guys to see it. So I will see you then. Bye. No, these birds, they just keep a distance, will be okay.